Well, today is Friday and it's an absolutely glorious day, and we're now going to start over this weekend our biggest task, and that is splitting all the 8 hives we have on the apiary. And you can just see now the amount of equipment we're needing to carry out the job. So each hive will be split up, and the queen and all the worker bees will be left on one particular hive, and then the rest of the hive will be moved to another slot in the apiary. So here we are. This is the first of the hives. This is our 5-box hive. The first job will be to remove the lid and then start looking for the queen, who should be towards the top of the hive rather than further down, as that's where she should be laying eggs at the present time. So hopefully it won't be too long before we do find her. Once we do find her, we're going to then cage her. Laura will put it in her pocket, and then we'll just check the rest of the hive for queen cells, and we'll take out the queen cells so that once the hive is queenless, the girls that are here will then very quickly make emergency queen cells, which we can then have a look at next week in about 7 days' time, and decide on the best of the emergency queen cells and destroy the others. Well, we've only taken out our second frame of the 5-box hive, and there we have the queen right in the middle of the frame. That's very lucky.
Just pick her up. Put her in here. And she's nice and safe in the queen cage. We're going to put her in our pocket until we have finished messing this hive around, and then we can put her in the new box on the same site. So we have the new hive in the original position, and Andy is just finding a frame of pollen and a frame of capped honey to go into this box along with the queen. So Andy's just put in a frame of honey. And here we have a really good pollen frame to support these new bees.
And now we're just going to drop it into our hive.
Put the queen onto this frame, wait until she walks out. Here she comes. There we go. We're going to put the frame very quickly into the hive, and the bees will come to her aid very soon. You can see that they're already joining at the front, and soon this hive will be all filled up. So we're going to put another box on, just of foundation, and then we're going to feed them with some 1-to-1 sugar syrup and put a pollen patty on. Now that the top box is on, we are just taking some frames out, and we're going to shake quite a lot of frames of nurse bees. And these nurse bees are the young bees that will then be able to feed the larvae that the queen will lay and produce in the next few days. So at the moment, all the flying bees, which are the older bees, are coming back to this hive. And this is not necessarily what happens in a real swarm. In a real swarm there are older bees and younger bees, a mix. So we are trying to emulate that as much as possible. There is also another reason that the other hive that we're taking these bees from needs to be significantly smaller to avoid the chance of a cast swarm happening which is where the first queen to emerge from a cell will go off with half the bees again. So we want to make sure that there are no additional swarms because we've split this colony. We're just storing the pollen patty to give them some pollen feed during the next few days, just in case if the weather turns a bit cold. I'm putting this under the crown board. So we're just putting enough feed to keep them going for a day, because we don't know quite how many hives we're going to split today, so we want to make sure we have enough for each hive, and then we'll top them up tomorrow. So they now have everything they need to build up and produce a really good hive. I'm just going to put an eek over the top, and then finally the lid. And now we've got to sort out the other hive with the queen cells in. So we have now gone through all the frames in this hive, and we have found quite a few charged queen cells, but they are still open, so we have left those because we know that there is no chance of them hatching until over a week's time. So we're going to be able to go into this hive in a week's time, in 7 days, and take out most of those queen cells that they will produce. They'll produce a lot more now that the queen has gone and moved into the other hive. So we are now just putting a queen excluder on, taking advantage of the fact that there won't be any more brood being laid in these boxes for a number of weeks. So we have 4 boxes which contain brood. We have found enough frames to fill a box that we can put on the top as with honey. So we're just putting a queen excluder on. So we know that then the new queen, when she's hatched, won't be able to inhabit all 5 boxes, which is a bit of a large area for us to keep an eye on her. So she's down to 4 boxes, and possibly we can then reduce it further as the brood hatches out, so that we have more supers on this hive rather than just brood space.
So there we are, we have our hive moved, 5 boxes high, and they haven't got a queen in, and now we'll be waiting for them to develop queen cells, and then we can select the one that we want. And the hive next door is the one with the queen in. All the comb is undrawn, and those girls now are going to have to work really hard. They have a support with the pollen pate and the 1-to-1 sugar syrup to help them draw out the comb as quickly as possible and develop a nest. We're now on to the following day from where we split the hives up, and we're just going to go into the first hive now and see how much of the sugar syrup they've taken down. We gave them about 3 pints last night just before we left, and we need to now look and see what they've done and how much they've taken down. And looking at this, it's all gone. So overnight, as quick as that, they have actually taken down 3 pints of fluid.
So we just have to fill it up very, very, very slowly so that the bees move out of the way in the centre. We also have to make sure no bees climb in, otherwise they'll drown.
And there, we've now filled it up with another 3 pints. And we're doing some more splits today, and this is the position of the new hive, or which is basically the old position. And we found the queen, and we're now going to introduce the queen back into this particular hive. Just get a smoke too, so I can get the frame out. And then we're going to put the queen on this comb. she is, happy on the comb again, looking around, and we'll put us back in there and it'll calm the hive down somewhat.
So at the end of today, we have split 3 more colonies. We've still got 1 colony, this one, to split on Monday. But a fairly calm apiary now. This was the one that swarmed out, and they're all back in. So a good day's work.
This is one of the hives that we split 2 days ago. We're just going to go in now and have a look because they've taken all the sugar syrup down. We're just going to have a look and see progress and see what's happening. And looking down in the hive, they are actually starting to build on comb. So we'll just take one frame out and have a quick look and just see what's going on.
Okay.
So there we are, already in 2 days they've drawn that side of the comb, and they're starting to draw that side of the comb, but they're also storing sugar syrup. That's amazing in 2 days. Great progress. We'll put them back together. We don't want to disturb them anymore. This will be the only one we open up, just to see what they're doing. Well, here's the hive that we're going to be taking away, and there's the queen, looking really superb. She's done a phenomenal job laying in this hive. Plenty of brood, looks really, really good. So we're going to put her back in now and close this hive up. She's got to be on the frame because I'm going to crush her at the bottom. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this top box away with us, and this will be going to some friends of ours. The bottom box we're going to keep, and it'll stay on this hive, but will most likely become about the 3rd box. So we then will have to amalgamate these bees using the newspaper method with the hive that we've just split, which we'll bring over here, and we'll take you through that as we film it. Just have a look on that there, just to make sure she's not there. I think that's a little bit. Just keep it quiet. Who's there? I don't think that's all right.
Nope.
One in the middle.
Oh yeah.
One just there.
Oh yeah. I'm just taking the drones off so that they won't get trapped in the super at the top with the queen excluder, because drones are too big to go through the gaps in the queen excluder.
Drones haven't got a sting, so we can do this with confidence.
So I'm not being brave, even though I've just ripped my whole glove. That's fine. Okay, so now we need the newspaper on top. We're going to merge this other part of the hive on top.
I got more than 4 sheets. I was already switched on.
Better. It's just 33. let them come up. Crown board on the top. Whew. That's our mega hive for today. Andy's just putting the eek on so that the feeder has space before putting the lid on. And we'll come back in a few days' time to top up that feeder, in a week's time to see how they're getting on in this hive.